Hey there, dudes and dudettes. Alex Becker here, and I have a question for you. Are you an unlikable, awkward motherfucker? When you go to a party, do you sit in the corner like a weird child molester surveying the room and not talking to anybody? Are you a person that has to get obnoxiously drunk to communicate with other human beings? Are you that person who gets all weird and sweaty when someone starts talking to them? If this sounds like you, fear not, because I'm going to show you 3 things you can do today that will instantly make you much more likable, make people actually want to be around you, and allow you to actually communicate, get people to like you, and then buy stuff from you if you're doing that sort of thing. You'll also be able to just make friends if you're a lonely, weird little hermit kind of person. So if that all sounds great, stay tuned. Dudes, dudettes, what's going on? This is Becker. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming back. And if you're new here, be prepared for some weird ass shit. This channel is not a good place to be, but you're here. I got you. Stay focused, because what I'm going to show you guys today is exactly what I talked about in the intro on Instagram, where people ask me questions and I answer them on these videos, or on Snapchat. By the way, if you'd like to ask me questions, follow me on Instagram and then simply subscribe to this channel and my Snapchat, and you can see all the answers to your questions. I answer like almost everything. A lot of it's on Snapchat though. So that being said, the question I get all the time is, how can I be better socially? I see all sorts of forms of this. How can I go to parties and meet the people I want to meet? How can I be outgoing and attract people into my life that can help my business? How can I just make friends and not be a weird, awkward motherfucker? And what you need to understand why I'm doing this question, there's 2 reasons, okay? First, you need to understand, if you want to start a business and be successful, not having people skills is not an option. If you want to be an entrepreneur, the CEO, your job is meeting people and leading people and getting people to like you and have positive influence on your life, okay? It's just not an option. You can't just be a weird dude. Even if you look at Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or a lot of these CEOs who are naturally introverts, they have learned how to become extroverts and be outgoing and get people to do what they want. You have to be able to do this if you want to be an entrepreneur. So this is like lesson 1. You have to be able to do this. Now, the second reason I want to talk about this is you see these videos and you might think, well, Becker's really good at talking and acting good on camera. I bet he's tons of fun to be around. Or maybe you just think I'm a dick. Whatever you want, that's cool. I can see a lot of people watching these videos and be like, I hate this motherfucker. But whatever category you fall into, the thing you need to realize is that up until the age of about 23, I was very awkward. I was very hard to be around. And my communication skills, for lack of better words, sucked, okay? In high school, I had cool friends and they couldn't bring me around other people because I was like that weird and awkward. I get nervous and sweaty and say really inappropriate things that weren't funny to anyone except me. So I was pretty hard to be around. And you might fall into that category too right now. And the reason why I want to teach this video is because one of the first things that's going to allow you to actually start transforming your life, not just in business, just in general, is realizing that you are like silly putty, okay? As long as you got all your limbs attached and don't have any crazy problems in your life or abnormalities and stuff like that, you can change yourself socially and change who you are into virtually anything you want, okay? What you're seeing in this video, what you're seeing with my communication style and how I talk to people, it's all manufactured. This is completely synthetic. I'm not a naturally outgoing person, naturally extroverted. I'm in fact a big introvert. I like to sit in my house and not talk to people, and that eventually just wasn't an option in my life if I want to keep moving forward. So most of the time I'm an introvert, but I understand how to be an extrovert. So take that in mind, and that's what I'm going to show you to do today. Now, when it comes to actually improving socially and being an overall cool person, okay, if you want to be a CEO that attracts the right people, or heck, you just want to be the guy in the room that people listen to and talk to, you got to understand a lot more than just the 3 things I was about to teach you. These 3 things are just going to get you the fastest results without much effort. There's a lot of shit you have to work out in your head that can be worked out, but I'm not going to get into today because I can make an entire video series. And I might do that in the future if you want. Just hit me up in the comments section. So what are these 3 things you can do right away to get way better socially? All right, there's 3 things. Now, the first thing you can do when it comes to talking to people and actually being able to carry on a conversation and make them like you, not just talk to them, is a lot of people are talking, but they don't listen. Okay, this is huge. When you're talking to people and you're shy, what you're usually going to do is be always trying to think of what you're going to say next. A lot of guys, when they talk to girls or anyone who's in a position of power above them, whether it's business or anything like that, this applies to girls too, to a lesser extent, is they go into their heads. And so a person's talking, and you're just thinking about what you're going to say next. And you don't actually have any caring what they're actually saying. And that's the biggest thing. If you want to be better with people, you need to learn to start being better at listening. The best salespeople are not great talkers. They're great listeners. Okay? In fact, if you ever watch Tony Robbins interact with people, watch how he interacts. He probably says about 1/10 of the words in the conversation and gets everybody else to talk. And that's a master social skill right there. And if you also watch him, he's severely interested in what the person's saying. It almost seems like if he's in a room or an event with thousands of people, it's like that person is the only person in the room, and that's the effect you need to get and have on people, and it's very easy to do. All right, there's two things you just need to do. One, listen and don't think. Just don't think. Listen to what they're saying, and if you listen to what people are saying, there's going to be so many things you can talk about and pick out of that conversation. For example, if I go up to you and I start talking about, I don't know, Market Hero and a business model and stuff like that, you ask me like, hey, what do you do? I talk about Market Hero, I talk about business. There's 1,001 things you can rip out of that conversation and turn into a bigger conversation. The second thing you've got to do with that is you have to actually care what people are saying. You might not. For example, there's a lot of times when I talk to people, or I used to talk to people, and I had no interest in their lives whatsoever. Because of that, that comes across in a conversation and disables you from picking up that conversation and turning it into something bigger, and also stops you from doing the right nonverbal, natural communication that tells a person, hey, I care about you. I want to know what you're saying. What's coming out of your mouth is extremely interesting to me. If you can do those two things, you're going to have people talk a lot more to you, and you're going to go and expand on what they're talking about, and you're also going to be able to respond and be a much better communicator because you're listening. That's step one. Do that. Do not think about what to say next, and truly only listen to what the person's saying and then respond based on what they said when they are done talking. So that's number one. So number two, this is what I like to call giving people peanuts and setting them up to give you peanuts. So what this tactic involves is setting people up to have a great communication with you and actually setting them up to give you stuff to work with and actually give them a lot of stuff to work with so the conversation flows naturally and goes down a much deeper path right off the bat. So when you first meet a person, the questions you ask and what a lot of people ask are very plain Jane and they don't have much room for imagination. If you ask someone, what do they do? What do you like? That's basically what people ask. They don't have anything else to say. And what you want to do and when you start a conversation is two things. First off, you want to get straight to the big questions immediately so you can find out what this person is and what they actually like to talk about. Okay, so when you first meet a person, what I try and do is I'll ask something like, where do you see yourself in 10 years? What's your big goal with your businesses? So I'm talking to an entrepreneur. If it's a smaller person, something like that, I say, what do you do for fun? Okay, and so when a person says this, this, and that, you expand on that and you allow them to keep talking. So if a person says I like to go scuba diving, you don't say oh, that's cool. You go, oh, where are some of your favorite places to go scuba diving? I was once thinking about getting a scuba diving certification once, and I haven't quite yet. Do you know an easy place to go do this, and what's a good place to go dive? You see how I just set that person up to give me about 20 minutes worth of conversation just in the first second of meeting them? You see how that works? Instead of going, oh, cool, I like scuba diving too, conversation's dead right there. So that's why you want to ask those questions, because you're going to get those big answers and it's going to allow them to set you up with peanuts, things you can grab out of their conversation and expand on very quickly. Now what you also want to be able to do is give them peanuts to work with when they respond. If they say, oh cool, so I studied here and here, why do you want to do scuba diving? I don't go and say, hey, oh, it's fun. I go and talk about how oh man, I wanted to go swim with great white sharks and stuff like that. And I've been thinking about doing that for the longest time, and something about going and swimming with them has just been a big life goal of mine. What's a life goal for you, or yada yada? You see how I just set them up with so much conversation to work with by actually giving them a detailed answer. A lot of people when they get asked questions do not provide detailed answers, and it makes the other person's job of talking to them very stressful and incomplete. So understand how to do that. Be good at asking questions that make it easy for them to go on tangents about, and even if they don't go on tangents, give them peanuts that they can work with to expand the conversation. Your goal right here is to get past the chit chat as fast as possible with the first 5 seconds. You don't want to be talking about the weather. You don't want to be talking about boring conversation because that person is not going to remember you. They're not going to enjoy talking to you. So set people up with those peanuts and ask them the big questions immediately. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? What's your big goal for your business? What are you passionate about most in your life? I know these are weird questions to ask, but a person cannot give you boring conversation-killing answer. This is huge. So that's number 2 right there. Now, number 3, a lot of people don't do this, and all this stuff I'm telling you is stuff you can instantly work into any conversation and stuff. So before you go anywhere or before you meet somebody that is important, find out about them. You'd be surprised what you can find just by going to their Facebook page for 5 minutes or looking them up on Google if they're an important person. If you were going to dinner with your spouse and maybe going to meet another couple that she really wants to impress, or maybe you're meeting someone that she would like you to be impressed with, or you're going somewhere and meeting someone you would like to impress, what you want to do if you want to impress them is you want to understand what they like beforehand so you can get to the real conversation as fast as possible. This sets you up for massive success, whether you're just trying to make a new friend, whether you're trying to make a business contact, or if you were trying to make a sale. Remember, it's all about good listening. So for example, if you walk up to somebody at an event and you want to become their friend, you want to get a sale, or you want to get something out of them, the worst thing you can do is start with, well, what about me first? For example, when you're at events, you'll see people going around trying to sell stuff, and they'll start talking about what they're selling immediately without understanding the person at all. Or for example, when people meet me at events a lot, they don't know anything about me except what they want to get out of me. So they'll walk up and say, oh, hey, Alex, I like your stuff. By the way, how did you write a book? What publisher did you use? What did you do here, here, and here? And all this kind of stuff that I don't really want to talk about. That's like a boring conversation for me because I'm talking about this stuff 24/7. If say you wanted to meet me, you could go research the Dallas Stars, guitars, scuba diving, Overwatch, all the things I talk about on this channel. And if you walked up to me at an event and said, pick any of those things, and go, man, I really wanted to go scuba diving once. Why do you want to go scuba diving? Or, hey, what do you like about great white sharks? Or, hey, you play Overwatch. I play Overwatch too. It's so addicting. Boom, conversations right off the bat right there. Research people before you sell to them. Research people before you try and get something out of the relationship. It is huge. And if you do those three things, first off, listen and listen to a person, actually care what they're saying. 2, give them peanuts and set them up with peanuts and actually give them chances to give you peanuts back. And then 3, actually research what they're interested in. Your conversations are gonna go from like here to here, and you're gonna be 10 times more likable, even if you are an introvert, because you know how to get people talking. The whole goal of a conversation, if you want people to like you, is get them talking about them. Get them feeling warm and like you understand them, you are interested in the same things they are, and that you give a shit about them, and you're gonna see people explode. And then, once you have that person talking and telling you about their life, that's when you can start talking about the sale. You can be like, oh yeah, so look, you just talked about your business, but I mean, do you do any email marketing? And then boom, I can deliver a pitch that they're actually going to listen to and actually applies to them, and is also custom suited to what they've been saying. For example, I can make like metaphors based on if they like scuba diving. I can compare my software to being like going underwater without a scuba tank or something like that. You can basically speak their language and you know everything about them, so it's 10 times easier to get them to come around to your JV promotion, your software that you're selling, or even just coming on as a client of yours if you're doing consulting or something like that. So those are the 3 things that you can use instantly right now to get 10 times better results from your social interactions and sales and whatever the heck you're doing with this social interaction thing. And one more quick tip, actually have fun talking to the person. Talk about stuff you like and get them to talk about stuff they like so that everyone's enjoying the interaction. If you're having fun, people like a fun person. People don't like somebody where they can tell the person is talking to them just to get something out of it. That's huge. Take that to heart. So to sum it all up, number 1, listen. Listen so you can go and pick up things in their conversation and get outside your head. Number 2, be prepared to give people peanuts so it's easier to talk to you, and be prepared to take peanuts out of their conversation so it's easy to talk to them. It's going to make the conversation go 10 times smoother and get straight to the good stuff. Ask the big questions up front. Don't do chit-chat. And then finally, find out about people before you talk to them so you can get straight into what they enjoy talking about, and then create a sale or whatever you want to get out of the interaction based around an interaction, not just you walking up and trying to get something. Now, there's 2 books you can check out. I know, amazing editing skills. I know, you're welcome. It's called The Charisma Myth, and then How to Talk to Anyone, 92 little doozies you can do to talk to anybody. And these 2 books will get you out of your head when it comes to talking to people, and they give you just a bunch of quick tactics you can use to get much faster results. So that's all I got for you today. I didn't even tell any funny jokes or say fuck that much. I guess it's just a straight learning video. Now, if you like learning videos like this, or you just like car videos or funny videos, be sure to go below and subscribe right now. Follow me on Instagram. You can ask me questions here, which I will then answer on Snapchat and in these videos. You could also just go below and leave a very snarky comment. Whatever you want to do, man, or do that, it's up to you. So that's all I got in this video. It's been Becker. Take it easy.